Hi, welcome to my comic room. And here I am trying to do a video for longer than a minute. Or rather, I will succeed. However, if you don't mind, hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. I will do my best to get back to you because I'm still learning YouTube. Anyway, I have been told that I go a little too far in protecting my comic books. Some people even said, well, that's a lot of money that you're spending just for dollar books. But you want to know something? My investment doesn't necessarily mean financially. Maybe it's just my happiness. So most of the books that I tend to protect are books that I like. Now, of course, my New Mutants, I will definitely go overboard to the point where I'm trying to get them all graded. I already have a 9.8 selection, but it's those books that I collected off the rack that really mean something to me. Recently, about 2 years ago, I found out about a company called Comic Clear, and they make a clear backing board made of archival PET, or polyethylene terephthalate. And it's a chemical inertness, highly stable plastic that will not yellow, become brittle, or even break down the comic books that you're trying to protect. The other ones that I've used a lot longer, and that's from E. Gerber, which is a Mylar archival bag or sleeve, which I do place the comic book in there by itself. And it kind of just, well, looks a little bit like this. And you can hear the rigidness to it. And so, just to make sure I have the ordering, is I do get the 725Rs. Now, after I put the comic book in that sleeve, I then put that on top of a 750R. The 750R will not fit in a 725, and the reason why I got it larger is because then I have a My Light, which I'll place that in, and this way it protects the comic book. Now, as far as Comic Clear is concerned, this is what it looks like, including the clear backing board. Now the backing board is directly against the comic, and I figure since it's archival, that it should be okay. Now, the E. Gerber I did do 17 years ago, and the ones that I did 17 years ago, well, they seem to be fine. I haven't had to change them, take them out, I look at them, read them, and I know that certain comic books, especially the older ones, which were basically printed on newspaper print, have an odor to them. And once they deteriorate, there's no getting back from that. They are as far gone as they're going to. I remember in the late 80s, maybe early 90s, they started coming out with a deluxe, or they started using a different paper that was supposed to be stronger and maybe not deteriorate as much. Unfortunately, I do not know much about that. However, what I decided to do is take some Amazing Spider-Mans, in this case number 13, or as Marvel likes to call it, their legacy numbers of 977. I just like the cover. I have not been reading Spider-Man for a while, and I'm sorry, it's a shame, but the storyline is not capturing me. But this cover I really enjoy. It jumped out at me, and at Baltimore Comic-Con I decided to purchase one of them, which didn't stop there. I decided to get the trifecta. So I have this in the Mylar. Tap it down a little bit. The old bagging board that I have it in, I will still use, and apparently he did a double bagging board. What's funny though is I've always been told it's the shiny side that it's supposed to be on, and it wasn't on the shiny side. But I will put these away because I will use the bagging board for something else. And I will take this Amazing Spider-Man number 13. I had this one here, and I did get the 42 point. They do sell a 35 point and a 42 point. For a while they did away with the 42, and they recently came back with, I'm very happy. Also, both sides are now white. So if you ever collected E. Gerber product before or purchased it before, you will remember that they went white on one side and the other side was more of a cardboard. So after I have that, sometimes air does get in, so I kind of do my best to push it all out, mainly because of space. Because let's face it, when you use a thicker board, when you're using technically two bags, well, then what's going to happen is it's going to take up a little more space. I like the way they look. So I decided to do all three of them, and normally my books, I do it the wrong way. I tend to just pull it out as quick as I can so it doesn't catch the tape. Doesn't always work, but I figure it's my books. I don't want to say I don't care, but I tend to just go for it. However, when I'm away at a show or when I'm looking at someone else's book, I will take the tape off, and normally I will place it on my phone so this way I can place it back there. But in this case, I'm not going to do that. I am going to do it the right way. For a second reason as well, because apparently a lot of the newer comic books, I tend to get ink rub on the board. So I'm not even going to pull the board directly out. I'm going to pull the board and the comic book out. So this way, I don't have any damage, at least any noticeable damage. These all seem to be high grades. I'm going to have to really look it over, but I'm going to say they're probably about a 9.6. I have trouble going above a 9.6, and the trouble is I don't like doing it unless I'm 100% positive. So when I grade my own books, I will tend to drop it that single grade rather than say, hey, this is a 9.8. A lot of these books behind me are from a collection, and the gentleman in question would write down what they are as 9.8, 9.6, 9.6/9.8. And a lot of them, as I'm looking 9.8s, I'm not 100% in agreement with him. But he did take the time to do it, and, well, I'm just happy to have them now in my collection. Now, it is time consuming, and I believe a friend of mine did do some math that he said that if I were to do one book a minute, it would take 20 years and about 4 months, maybe 5 months, to get this collection behind me in new bags and boards. But that's just if it takes a minute. And as you see, the video here is taking a little bit longer than that. So I dare say that I will not be doing all these books because I don't think I have 20 years to do it, or the funds. So the tape ripped as I was opening it up, so there's no reason to take it off. There's no overhang of the tape. However, I am still going to slide it out with the board and give it a once over. And this one as well looks very nice. And once again, I will say a 9.6. Now, there were some books recently I did turn over to CGC, and even though I was thinking 9.6, I was hoping 9.8. And one did come back in 9.6, but I saw that there's a little damage to the spine, which I'm thinking maybe that was done during the signing because the gentleman in question did not like to sign where I wanted it signed. And when it comes to the artist, I will give them the benefit of the doubt and let them sign where they want to sign. Next time I'll just remember, so this way I have that bag and board it properly for him. And, well, for me. So I'm thinking that maybe that little damage occurred and getting it pressed, it might get a 9.8. 2 others got a 9.8, and then there's about 6 of them right now that CGC just received. And I'll have to give them a call because I realize that my credit card information has changed. But this is going on for about 8 minutes. 8 minutes it took me to bag and board 3 beautiful comics. And at the end of the day, I don't have to worry about them anymore. I mean, I can take them out and read them if I like. Although I'd only just read one, there's no point in getting 3 stories, the same story. And I will continue to use Comic Clear. I just got to figure out which ones I'm going to use for which. Anyway, thanks for watching. Collect what you love, and most importantly, be kind.